Davies in the middle. Checks back against Carter and scores. That is atypical for the Amina Margot.
Quickly gets it back again. Oh, what a goal! Well, that sums up her season. The Gunners are WSL champions.
Welcome back. The FA Cup's back. We're back. The Vic Akers Wonderland podcast. And I'm back in the hosting chair. Yes, it's me, Adam Salter, and we're going to be previewing Arsenal versus Liverpool FA Cup quarter-final. And to do that, of course, is the magnificent Matt in the hat and the lovely Lottie. Matt, how's the week been for you? Have you recovered from the roller coaster of Arsenal 4, West Ham 3?
It was a roller coaster, but then work brings you back to a little bit. So we had a little bit of fun, really. World Book Day was yesterday, so we had a lot of fun. A lot of people dressing up as Willy Wonka and Mary Poppins and the like. It was quite a nice day, actually.
Lottie, well, it's World Book Day. Must be your favourite day of the year as a lover of all things books.
Yeah, I'm a massive book fan, but I don't teach anymore, so I don't need to worry about World Book Day. It's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic because I've got no parents saying, "Oh my God, be careful with their costumes. They're so expensive." I'm like, they're little children. They're gonna get messy. But yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. Back in cruise control. 7 goals and no strikers.
Yes.
So it just made me hopeful for Sunday's other fixture that's coming up for the Arsenal.
Absolutely. Well, as it is, actually, it is the FA Cup. So I'll just do a quick, nice and easy one. Favorite FA Cup moment, quick fire off the top of your head so far.
Ooh. Manu Iwabuchi. Oh no, this season you're talking about.
No. Over any of you.
Yeah, Manu Iwabuchi with the double nutmeg, and then she goes and scores the I think it was just inside the box against Tottenham.
Yeah, that's a good one. Lottie, have you got a favourite?
Off the top of my head, no. It's been a long day. I finished work about an hour ago, so
fair enough.
Not functioning. Sorry.
No, that's fair enough. I mean, we can all think of bad ones, but I'm not going to go. That's a different question for a different podcast.
Why don't you give me one instead of us?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think now. That's a good one. I'm going to go.
I know I'm going to go.
That's fair enough. I'm going to go for the first ever FA Cup final I ever watched, because my first ever Arsenal game I saw on TV, and that was the 2007 final.
I can give you a scarring memory.
Yeah, I can too, being at Wembley, but we're not going to talk about that one.
Yeah,
I'm going to talk
about my first ever Women's Cup final. No,
I'm going to talk about the Jane Ludlow 35-yard volley to make it 3-0 against Charlton Athletic in the FA Cup final, and that will stay with me. And if it wasn't for that game, I may not be sat here talking to you on a Friday night talking about Arsenal. I guess
I'm surprised you didn't mention the Faye White goal that she retweeted from you,
because that was the League Cup, not the FA Cup. Otherwise, I would. This close, but not close enough. But no, that was the League Cup, and that was actually a few days 2005, but a few days before. If you've seen that tweeted out, that was indeed Arsenal. That was 3-0 against Charlton, 2005. We shall move on though. To the news, and there has been a bit, and of course I think the biggest news of the week, no question, no doubt, is that Arsenal have a new range of merchandise. We all love the new merch range, and they've got a new special one. I think it's all to do with, well, I think it's specifically for the women's market, or it's all women's fitting, it's all about the history and so forth. So of course, no interest to me, although these things never are. But Lottie, have you been tempted to reach for your credit card and invest in some more Arsenal merchandise?
No, actually. I've actually bought the scarf, but my lovely £20 voucher from the Arsenal for my tickets from Bayern Munich went towards it. So I've only paid £2.50 for it. It's great. Otherwise, it's 22 quid. So yeah, I spent my voucher from where I booked our tickets. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I've got the scarf. It's got the classic cannon on it. It's just, yeah, that's my favorite one. So it's just like, yeah, it's the right way. It's the old-fashioned one. I'm like, yeah, get in my basket. Thank you very much.
Has it arrived yet?
No.
Oh, will it
I only got
be
it yesterday. They're not that
no,
quick.
I mean, will it be there in time for the Meadow
No.
Park at the weekend? No. Oh,
It will be in time for the Emirates, though, for Liverpool.
excellent. I look forward to seeing that. In other news,
It looks a beauty.
I look for, yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan of a scarf, so it'd be good if you can get it on the pod as a regular. That'd be quite good. We can have Matt in its hat, and you can have your scarf and our scarf.
The scarf thing is you, not me. It's you. I can't wear scarves in the summer. It's not going to happen. I know.
Oh, right.
I'm currently cleaning my chain. That's why I've not got it on. But it's not the point. The scarf thing is your thing.
Fair enough.
Like that thing is Matt's thing.
I like that I have an image. I'm much appreciated. England.
Well, it depends if you want to cut all your hair off or not. Off your head.
I flip flop on that one.
You do flip flop a lot on that one.
I do. It'll come back. Give it a whirl. England, as I was going to say, England are looking to, England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland joint bid are looking to host or hoping to put bid for the 2035 Women's World Cup. Now, it should be said this would be a first for England. They've hosted the Euros twice as a main tournament, and obviously did have a thing with the final in the first ever tournament Euros, never the World Cup. So this would be quite a momentous occasion if it went through. Matt, is football coming home?
I would like to hope so. My main issue at the moment is I'm just going through it when I'm researching, and the teams that we're going to be up against are going to be the African continent. There doesn't seem to be another European opportunity to host it, which is a bit of an odd one, really, because Spain were looking to build an interest, but that's sort of cooled. But I think there's
everything else going on that has to cool off. There's no way that we're getting a sniff of it after what's gone on.
Maybe that's one of the reasons. But I think what I would like to see, if they do get the bid, we don't know what's going to happen because it's going to be next year. That's going to be decided. That they spread it more evenly than they are doing with the men's European Championships in 2 years, in 3 years' time. I had to do my maths then. Which is essentially where you've got a lot of the games are in England. There's only 2 or 3 games that are going to be played in Scotland, Wales, and Ireland as well. So it needs to be more balanced. I would look at having a group.
It's also a case of and I get where your balance is coming from, but it's also a case of facilities.
Yeah,
England are more well equipped. There's no disrespect, but Wales are well equipped as well. But compared to Scotland and Northern Ireland, England and Wales are the better options.
You would imagine because the host will be sorted into their own group. That group will be based in that country. England aren't going to play their group games in Wales. Wales aren't going to play the group games in Scotland. So there has to be a limit.
That would be the other thing as well, is how they do the hosting.
Qualify, they'd be expected to play in their own segment of the UK.
So I mean, I would like that, but at the same time, I wouldn't mind. Would I mind a flight like flying over to like Northern Ireland for an England game? If England progress and they draw Northern Ireland, there could be some interesting sort of mixtures there, and a chance maybe to visit. I mean, I never visited Northern Ireland, so it'd be nice to do that one. And I've only done Scotland once or twice, and Scotland's a beautiful country, as is Wales. Really fun the flag for the home nations here. But Euro.
I think you've holidayed in Wales a fair bit recently.
I have holidayed in Wales a fair bit. Yeah.
Just on it though, it would be nice to see if Africa do get it, then it will be a first again.
Yeah.
And they've got an opportunity in 2031 as well, not just in 2035.
I think because the ones I've had is the USA have got a bid coming up instead of Brazil, hasn't it?
Brazil's this World Cup in 27.
Yeah. And then it's the US, I think, might be the one after that.
That's 2031. They have bidded for, but it's USA and Mexico, or it will be Africa. So again, there's an opportunity for Africa to have their first ever Women's World Cup. It's a huge milestone.
Euro 2022 was just such a special tournament, and it's changed the game in our country forever. And I've got a lot of happy memories of that. And there is a part of me who would love to do that all over again. But I do also wonder if will it ever, could it ever be better than Euro 2022? That was such pure perfection. And I fear anything else will, not match up to that. Short of winning the tournament, obviously, but I just, there was such a special moment.
But then you think back to, 96. Everyone's got those sort of 96 memories. I was a kid. I was born just before the tournament, so I've had to look back at those sort of things. But I can imagine if there's like a bit similar to the World Cup in Australia, New Zealand, like people still talk about Lauren James getting sent off and Kelly scoring that penalty against Nigeria. It's those sorts of moments that will make a tournament and go, that was probably one of the best tournaments I've ever seen. That everyone's got those sort of moments, and I think that's where, when you watch it live, especially because we were there at Wembley at the time, we're going to have that. I think, Lottie, you mentioned this when we talked about it. You're going to have these memories for a lifetime, and it's always going to be you could bring it back to that. But it will be a chance to create new memories. It won't be with this team, because in 10 years' time, half that team is probably going to be retired. You would hope. I don't expect to marry a 50-year-old Mary Earps in goal for England, shall we say? But
hey, you telling me I'm going to be 50? Me and Mary Earps are the same age group. How dare you? How dare you? I'm insulted.
Wow.
That's rude.
If anyone would like to join the Vic Akers Wonderland podcast as our brand new
we've now got a
co-conspirator
vacancy for Matt's post.
yeah. Whoever
He's now gone to hide.
must bring their own hat, and we'll slot you straight in. Drop us a comment if you would like to join our team.
Oh my goodness.
Oh dear.
No, but Matt was just talking about the Euros just then, and that Chloe Kelly moment. And I remember sitting in the stands, because obviously I was sitting maybe like two seats apart from Matt, with two other people between us, because we were sitting together. But it's moments like that you won't forget. If I can get that a World Cup that we host, I'm all in, even if it takes another 10 years. We don't even know if the podcast is going to be here in 10 years, but you know what I mean.
Well, no, you never know. It could last. I do hope we'll get Matt back and gets his technical issues fixed in a minute. Oh no, I think we're getting him back.
Oh, he's come out of hiding, people.
He's come out of hiding. You scared us for a minute there, Matt.
Did you run away? Did you get scared?
No, I just thought it'll give you a bit of a break.
Yeah, well, before I'll move the subject on then, before we tread on more eggshells.
Before I get banned.
Yes.
Well, we just passed your job, so. Well, Adam did. I did.
Well, yes.
Even minimum requirement is to wear an Arsenal hat.
But you offer a lot more than that, Matt. We should say. We do value your insight. You don't just wear cool hats and have a nice headset. You do bring a lot of good insight to the pod. And moving the conversation on to some more recent news, or recent discourse rather, about the promotion relegation plans of restructuring the WSL. So Nikki Doucette confirms relegation promotion will not be scrapped, which I don't think comes as a surprise.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. She says that promotion and relegation is a great thing. It makes football distinctive of the leagues, and it adds jeopardy and excitement, which it does. Of course, what she also added was that
a bit like last season, between me and you, Adam, all we were looking at was the bottom of the table, because the top was all pretty much set, and we didn't know which way it was going to go, and it was just like, oh, we're all here for the drama.
Absolutely, relegation.
I'm so relieved they're not getting rid of it.
We had a few good relegation, but I think it was when Reading went down, or Birmingham City went down, and that was a classic final day. That's the one I'm thinking of. Bristol City, Birmingham City, and Aston Villa all circulating around at the end, and that was proper drama, which I think really the TV company should invest in a bit more. So yeah, not a surprise, and I think as I predicted, it was more the idea of we could temporarily suspend to increase the numbers, and then obviously turn that tap back on again. Of course, there will be certain clubs who will try and suggest, and I understand their motivations, that maybe that tap should remain, turned off. I think otherwise.
Also, you can't trust the clubs.
Yeah, well, we should also add that
as much as we love and follow these clubs, don't trust them. Primarily, they run a business, not a football club.
Well, even if the clubs want to push for that, it's not going to happen, because FA Chief Executive Mark Billingham has categorically stated that they would 100% not accept a closed league. So it should be noted that the FA, even though the WSL is no longer in the FA's hands, they still have a strong influence on the league. They have like a golden share in the league, and so they have a control over certain things and can veto certain manoeuvres. It looks like the thing they're suggesting, therefore, is what WSL have done before, which is temporary halt, promote some numbers back in, and then allow it again. But a lot of other leagues around Europe are looking to expand their leagues and doing it different ways. And I was talking to a friend today over in the Bundesliga, France Bundesliga. One of the things they're doing in the lower tiers is having 3 teams come up instead of 1. So you still keep your relegation and you just bring more teams up from the championship.
Basically, 3 come up, 1 goes down, and you still keep an even number. Is that what I'm looking at?
Yeah, that sort of thing. So
that's the
again,
one thing that
interesting.
I've never agreed with I think I've talked about this on the other pod when it came down, was that if you have an odd number, it just not
It
just
ruins the
because
fixtures.
of not because of
that's why it's 3 up, 1 down.
It's got to be. You've got to have an even number of teams. You've got to have an even number of fixtures each week. You can't just not have have 9s or 11s in league, because it just doesn't work.
The thing I would say about this whole discussion debate is that it's taken until now for some semblance of an official statement to surface or come to the public. The original information came through leaks and so forth, and it's not really a sort of good look. We're only getting sort of whispers and half information, and then you have to question the stuff that's being leaked. What's the motivation behind it? How we have to treat it as true, but
I think
people
that's what motivated what I've said on the previous pod. Is just so many questions, so many different things it affects, and it's a bit. What's the word for it?
It feels like a bit of a marketing play from me. Like, it gets you talking. So
it does, but it's also a case of don't challenge English football fans changing their leagues, as we will come back at you.
We've seen it as well with the men, haven't we, in the Super League?
Absolutely, I was at every single time outside the Emirates. I was there. I wasn't happy, and we were eventually heard.
We were thankfully on that one. We were heard, but again, men's football, sadly, at this present day time, has a bigger noise, a bigger sort of that affects people. Are more likely to listen to that situation, whether they've listened to the fans in this situation or whether this was always the case and it was just simply cross lines, mixed messages, and so forth.
You know what? As much as everyone hates the Arsenal, let's just say that for this point, particularly the fans. One thing that will always unite any fan, doesn't matter what club you're from. You've got to remember, football is the main thing that unites us, and I wouldn't be surprised if we did have the same levels as those men protests. There's more than enough of us across the league.
So what Nikki actually has said, though, is that they're open to all possibilities and all sort of ideas, because leave nothing off the table, which I sort of get, because you don't want to. You want to basically have everything on the table, so then you can easily reject it all. If you dismiss it beforehand, you may dismiss a really good idea. So I do sort of get that, although I think we can all agree closed league is something that should never be on the table in the first place. What she has said is once they have actually formulated the plan, as it will, then it will get put to supporters and fan groups and so forth, and discussions will be had then. And again, I do sort of get that, because there's no point bringing something to the table that you haven't even, the idea isn't fully formulated. You need to have the plan in order to show it. And of course, it feels like maybe some of these leaks and informations are really like early inception, like before anything's been properly decided, and maybe there's an element of jumping the gun. But I think that fear does exist, and I do understand that fear exists in the fans, that fundamentals in the game may be taken from us in the name of inverted commas progress that would actually undermine the league and undermine any potential progress that could be made. And I think what these has shown is essentially how much there is the fan interest and how much the fans do care and how much voice the fans do have on this. And there is, again, wind the clock back 10 years, 20 years, it wouldn't really matter. And I remember there was a lot of controversy when some restructurings happened before, when Man City came up and when the likes of West Ham and Brighton came up. But there was a bit of noise, but it was nothing. But now, if you try to tinker with the system, you're going to get a lot more blowback than you did 10 years ago, and it makes it even more important that the WPLL get this absolutely spot on, because it does need changing, but they've got to get this change absolutely correct. Sorry, Matt, you were going to say.
No, I was just wondering about the timing of it all, because if you think about it, imagine if this came out in the summer during the European Championships. Like, do you reckon that? I was just wondering whether or not the time of it, they've decided to leak it out early, so that you can get discussion out now, and they get that sort of feedback early, so then they can readjust it, instead of it all being on the table in the summer, and then in the middle of a tournament you can't really do much because
you think
focus is
because we're all going about in Switzerland watching England in the Euros.
well, no, it's not just that though. You've also got Wales there as well.
Yeah,
You've got some Welsh fans that will be going to the WSL games as well. It's just, I just wonder if they've sort of done it strategically, instead of like how they saw, how you see it go with when other people put announcements out, like UEFA have done in the past.
I don't think it's anything that sort of like.
I'm not trying to be like. I'm not trying to be like that's a scheme, or like Riddler, or joke, or whatever you want to call it. It just seems a bit odd to do it now, not. It's just the timing of it is all.
On the flip side, though, you need to start it early, because if they start planning it in the summer, they won't be able to implement it in time. So
no, but I would imagine that it would implement it for 2026, 27. That would be that.
It's pretty clear that whatever the plan is, we're in very, very early stages, and we'll have to wait and see what the actual proper plan is going forward. Again, I'm glad they're being proactive and looking to change the game. I'm just praying it's changed in the correct way, and if it is changed the correct way, then hopefully the game will improve. One final thing to just end on the news section. It is a bit of a sad one, and that is obviously there's been a recent death, tragic death in the footballing world. A young player, Poppy Atkinson, sadly lost her life, and so in the 10th minute. Well, certainly from my perspective at Meadow Park, I cannot speak for other grounds, but hopefully other grounds are doing something similar. But at Meadow Park in the 10th minute, there will be a minute's applause in remembrance, and I'll be there, and I'll be joining in, and I hope those going to the game will do so likewise. We shall move on to Arsenal versus Liverpool. That is the game to be played at the weekend. It's a quarter-final weekend, so very much exciting. I can't remember if this is the TV pick or not. I don't think it is. It's always a bit of a discourse with these probably thing, I think, but it should be on YouTube or on the FA Player. So if you can't get a ticket, hopefully better watch online. Liverpool, bit of an interesting one this. So I was doing a bit of research. So I thought I'd open question to you. When was the last time Arsenal played Liverpool in the FA Cup? Just simply start.
I'm not even going to answer this one. Leave this to Matt.
Pick me.
Go on, Matt. When was the last time Arsenal played Liverpool in the FA Cup?
This would have been 22-23, and this was the game at Prenton Park. Casey McCabe scored a banger. Kim Little scored up at the other end. Yeah. I'm sure there was another goal as well, which I'm missing.
Yeah, so Ford got two. Ford got a weldy. McCabe got a weldy, and it was 21-22.
I was a year off.
Yeah, but yes, it was that was away at Liverpool. In fact, there's been a few. So that's what I'm going to throw back to you, and this is from like GCSE straight up to A level here. When was the last time Arsenal played Liverpool at home in the FA Cup? No, Lottie won't know, and Matt, you won't know. That's because it was in 1994.
I was going to guess.
Well, I would. What time of year in 1994 was it?
It would have been. I can't remember exactly but it was in 1994. It was the 1993-94 season, I think it was, and it.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know what football was back then. So yeah, no.
And Liverpool didn't even exist then, because at the time they were known as Knowsley United, and Knowsley won 1-0. Arsenal have never beaten Liverpool at home in the FA Cup. So hopefully the chance for a bit of history to be
time to
change, exactly. There's been a few interesting games down the years. We've beaten them at Anfield in an FA Cup tie, and we beat them in the 95 FA Cup final when because I long ago got a brace, and Marianne Spacey with a late winner and a 3-2 win. So we've had a few scuffles down the years. But yeah, as you said, Matt, 2022, McCabe with a fantastic. It always does the rounds. If you're ever at Emirates Stadium and they do that pre-game montage, that goal I'm pretty sure always does the rounds on the VT. But looking forward to the present, as I say, it's actually the first time this game's ever been played at Meadow Park, and this particular fixture, the last one was at Enfield back in '94, and Liverpool are doing this without their main manager because Matt Beard, so much has happened since then, but I think it's either the last week or the week before, was relieved of his duties. His last game was the defeat at Manchester City, so it ends his second spell as Liverpool manager. Matt, fair or harsh?
I remember when we were talking about this on the pod that it seemed a bit unfair because it seems that Liverpool want to get to the next level, but they're willing to. They want to at least challenge for those levels. I mean, last season they came 5th, so
I mean they were brilliant last season. They were. I mean, Matt got manager of the season, I believe he was. He was actually.
So it's not like they don't have the capacity to do it again. They've got new facilities now. They've got, well, I say shiny new stadium. It's not really shiny because it's borrowed from St Helens. So it's not like they aren't attempting to build something because they are. It's just they seem to fail to understand what they have to do to invest to get over because you can only spend 40% of what you make. And for whatever reason, they're not realizing what they are failing their own market at the moment, which is real shame. I can't remember the exact figures that they've got, but I'm sure they're probably one of the low. I think they're 4th lowest in terms of budget. And you think you're only playing 3 games at Anfield in a season. One of them you're playing, United, and I think it's Man City. They did
Man City. Man City was early in the season. That was one when Bonnie Shaw got the late winner.
And Everton as well.
Obviously.
For obvious reasons. But let's take the game next Friday against Man United at Anfield. Same night, Arsenal taking on Everton.
Yeah,
it's not going to draw in the crowds because it's a 7 o'clock kickoff. I mean, by the time that people finish at 5 o'clock, like you're not going to have enough time to go home, come back, and then go straight back out. You have to go from where you work to the game, and it's just it doesn't make logistical sense to have that game there. Or if you're having that as a TV pick, that would have been perfect as a 12:30.
Yeah. I have my own problems with Liverpool. Said they've won with WSL before when they did invest, and then they seemed to get bored of them and then stopped investing in them, and they got relegated. They came back, and I always found interesting to me the moment they got promoted, or when they got promoted, they brought back in the manager, the same manager that had Matt Beard in 2013, 2014, and then they tried to rebuy all the players that they did have in 2013, 2014, and I think it's like you're trying to wind back the clock, but it doesn't work that way. You have to invest in the players that are going to be great for you, not the players that were great for you. And now what's happened is those players have cycled back out. So the likes of Shanice van der Sanden, she's left the club. I think obviously Natasha Dow is no longer not there. I think Gemma Bonner is still there, but obviously Matt Beard is now gone. So it's all gone back full circle again. They're back to where they were. I think this season they've been a bit unlucky with injuries. One of the reasons they're a bit further down the table. They've had a good start to the new year. Until obviously that Manchester City result. I think it's an incredibly harsh decision. I think Matt Beard is a perfectly decent, adequate WSL manager. Given he had a bad run with Bristol City, but that was a sinking ship that he jumped into when they got relegated. But I think Liverpool had a very competent manager at their helm that they just didn't support properly. I feel in the windows. I feel after the previous season when they got, I think it was 4th in the end, wasn't it? It was 4th ahead of Manchester United, I think it was in the end. Brilliant season. They should have, put the money behind Matt Beard to build the team that we need to take to the next level. Because a club like Liverpool, for me, and again, this is me taking my men's football hat and men's football glasses and looking at Liverpool, thinking they should be challenging for the top 3. Why not? And why shouldn't they? They should be in Europe.
With Olivia Smith as well, they've got someone to
this is my next point
for the future to sort of build a team around. And it's sorry, Adam, I'll let you go.
No, that was my next point actually. Because of all the investment they have made, they made one big signing, and that was Olivia Smith. And I was going to come to Lottie on this one. Lottie, what have you made of Olivia Smith at Liverpool? Has she been in your fancy WSL team at all?
Yeah, she's been in and out. I mean, she's a great player, but she just doesn't get the service. What I found really strange this year is Marie Hobinger.
Mm.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just looking for pronunciation correction. Yeah, she's been very quiet. She's been very unlike herself, like she has been the last couple of seasons. Because normally she's a staple piece to my midfield, and I've just had her out completely in favour of Ella Toon. But yeah, no, it's a bit of a strange one, if I'm honest with you. It's you've bought all the, as you said, look, you bring players back like Jenna Bonner.
Yeah.
Gemma
Yeah.
or Jenna, one of the two.
Gem.
No, it's Jenna Clark I'm thinking of. Never mind.
Yeah.
Bring back players like Bonner, and you expect things to work the way that they did when you did win the league. But you need to also remember the league has changed since then.
Yeah.
People have moved around, new talent has come in, and if you've got managers that have seen you win the league and they've said if they move to a different location, they know how to beat you. And I think after last season, I think they were a little bit rumbled under Matt Beard and the way he plays. So they haven't had the best kind of start to the season, but the Palace highlights were very interesting. I will say that, and I think Sunday's going to be very unpredictable.
I didn't get a chance to sadly watch the Liverpool Palace game because I was too busy recovering.
I only watched the highlights, but
Yeah.
it's only a 1-0 win over Palace, which is very good for Palace in terms of their goal difference. Not that it's great,
No.
But it was interesting to see how this new manager plays. I'm so sorry, I've forgotten her name. So sorry.
No, yeah, it was. I had it written down. Amber Whitley. Amber Whitley's the interim. This is one of the things that baffles me about the situation is you've sacked Matt Beard. Okay, fine. You decided to part ways.
Thing is, I didn't see it coming, which was it just came out completely out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, nowhere. But then,
unless it's at the point where he's lost the team in the back room,
I don't think. But
they just didn't want to play for him anymore.
The results didn't suggest that. I mean, they were winning games. I mean, everyone, like at least they went Man City, that can happen. But they've done a decent run since the new year, and I think he's a well-respected manager. It made no sense to me because you sack him, but then you're not bringing anybody else, and you say, "Oh, we'll sort it out in the summer." But Liverpool aren't going to get relegated this season. They're not going to win the league. They could win the FA Cup. We'll see what happens this weekend. Hopefully, Arsenal get through. So if that happens, then your season's over. You're just going to just drift throughout the season. So if you sacked him and you think there's something to play for this season, then you bring a better manager in, or if in your opinion's a better manager. If its plan is we're going to fix it in the summer, well then there's no point sacking Matt Beard. You might as well just give him until the end of the season and then move him on. It just seems, I don't know. I've really struggled with Liverpool sometimes with their logic or lack of running the women's team. I feel it's a badly managed up above, not from a coach perspective, but from a higher up club manager perspective.
This is one of the problems, isn't it? Is that essentially because of how small the league is, if you get over those 14 points, you haven't got much to play for unless
you don't. The season's over.
There's nothing to really play for, no jeopardy whatsoever. So there's that sort of, what do you do in that situation? Does it make sense to sack your manager? Probably not. But at the same time, if you're looking to build something new, there's now Matt Beard who probably is eyeing up. Maybe there's going to be jobs in the Championship that he might have an eye on because he likes to build those sort of projects now.
I will be intrigued to see where he ends up there because I can see him being easily snapped up. I was thinking Palace, but I think when Palace moved on their manager, I think they already had another person lined up.
Yeah.
Again, interesting to see how that one plays out. But someone like Matt Beard, with his experience, WSL title winning experience to be said, and he's appeared in, I think, in an FA Cup final as well. He'll pick up another job soon, and wish him all the best. But yeah, Olivia Smith, as I was saying earlier, can't wait to see how she plays. I've been really impressed with her season. They put the life savings on her when they brought her to Liverpool, and she's brought so many magical moments to Liverpool this season. And when they maybe have not hit the heights of last season. I think she was suspended for the Man City game, but I think she is back now in the team. So look forward to seeing how she does at Meadow Park, and it'll be a good challenge for our defence, who, as we saw against West Ham, were a bit ropey at times. So we'll need to be on on our best game for that.
You're
Moving
calling
on,
that ropey?
just a bit,
Really?
just a bit,
Just a bit.
just a bit.
Tad.
Just a tad sketchy we were, just a bit, just weren't on our A game, just slightly off.
It's more of a case the whole team needed to wake up. They were just too slow to wake up. I know it wasn't that cold though. That's
Yeah.
what I don't get.
Well, I'm hoping they are wide awake from the off and more early kickoff. So no, hopefully we are 2:30. Yeah, 2:30 kickoff. So not under the lights for this one. So fingers crossed. Moving on then to Arsenal, as we are talking about them, press conference has come out and no Kelly, sadly. So we won't see any magic on the wings like we did against West Ham United. She's out of it, cup tied. No Lotta, obviously injured. Still hoping all the best, and Lena Hurtig's ill. So again, we're now gone from we're now 2 wingers short. So again, hopefully this won't end up with Russo on the wing again, our player of the month. So congratulations to Russo, but hopefully she is staying as a forward going into this one. So yes, let's just go through some other team news. Palova and Kafaji playing with the under-21s. Great to see them getting some minutes. I think we'll all hope to see the pair of them play in some capacity at the weekend. And also a big happy birthday to Daphne van Domselaar. And there was actually, I think she was actually interviewed as part of the press conference. Just say what a season she's had at Arsenal. She is slotted straight, fitted like a glove, like a goalkeeper's glove, if you will, just straight in as a number one keeper. Which does beg the question, Matt, is as we are in cup competition world, do you give Manu the gloves for this one?
I would like to see her play in this one. I think we all kind of like it when a goalkeeper is very interactive with the crowd, and Manu is definitely one of those that needs that backing from the crowd. Not as much as some people think. It's just I think she just likes to have something to if she is getting. She needs the amp up and atmosphere really to be able to reach her levels at times, or it gets you through like the small spells where there isn't much to go through. I think it would make sense for Manu to definitely do that. Give Daphne a bit of a break because she's been playing a lot of minutes, and especially with how it went last time at Meadow Park. No disrespect to her. There was a bit of a mixture of defense and goalkeeper issues. It's just maybe a sit on the bench. It will do her some good, like a mental reset for her.
Yeah, I can see that. At the same time, though, when we had our semi-final in the League Cup against Man City, it was Daphne in goal for that, even though it was a cup game. So we'll see. But I think did Manu play in the LCL game? I'm just trying to recall.
Yeah,
well,
yes.
Well, hopefully she'll get this one at least. But then I'm looking at the other fixtures. So we've got Manchester United, Sunderland on the Saturday, and then just before us, you've got Manchester City versus Aston Villa, and then Chelsea Palace at the same time we are. If it goes as per the table, it's one of those three in the semi-final, and I would doubt that we would see Manu for one of those games. I would say, and so you do wonder, could it be the last game we see Manu in goal? If that's the case, if you think about how the fixtures might play out for the rest of the season, we'll wait and see. But I agree.
There's no reason not to give Daphne a break before the international break against Palace.
Well, there is that, I suppose. Yeah, we may see her once or twice, but this certainly though.
There's some big tough fixtures coming up ahead. I think I'd rather see Manu in goal on Sunday. I mean,
that might be the
we're away
case.
to Everton, we're away to Real Madrid, then we've got Liverpool again, so she won't miss out on playing in goal against them. But I can't see Manu in goal at the Emirates. It's not going to happen.
No,
and then
I think that
obviously the following Wednesday after that, we've got Real Madrid at home.
There might be a case where she plays some minutes more towards the end of the season when things are a little bit more certain, shall we say. So maybe the Palace game, for example, or maybe the Leicester game.
Yeah. I was looking at the Palace and Leicester games. Either side of the break. Yeah, international break.
I should say this, obviously this is hypothetical, but I think her contract's up at the end of the season, and given the way that DVD is sort of is clearly the main choice of keeper. And you think about this, like the save she made like late on against West Ham to tip it over the bar. Just the height and the reach that she has is she's just a bigger
The thing
person
is,
than Manu.
there was always going to be one keeper that was going to unsettle her from that number one spot.
Yeah.
Two keepers tried, but she couldn't keep Daphne away from that. And it wasn't going to happen. Let's be
I think
serious.
this was always going to be Manu's last season, because it was a +1 extension, wasn't it? So
Yeah.
I think she's going to be looking to head back to either. I would probably imagine she might move back towards Germany.
Yeah, might well do.
But she goes with a welcome, thank you and everything, because there's been some fantastic moments. Just to bring up the triple save against.
Oh, I knew you were going to
Tottenham
bring that one up. I knew.
We knew it.
That's
We knew
the
it was
moment.
getting too predictable.
I'm still waiting for that Daphne sort of moment.
We had that against Leicester City when that was in her first game. That was the moment when she made that save against Leicester City from that range. I think it tipped it onto the bar, and I thought that player hit the bar, and I saw the replay, and it was a fingertip save. At that moment, I was like, "Yeah,
that one, yes, but it's a magnitude sort of game where it's in the derby. They're always against Leicester. No offense to Leicester.
No,
if she's able to make, like, say she makes a double save in like a semi-final at last minute against Chelsea, for example, I'd say that's the Daphne moment. She's got her moment now. Just confidence builds, and she can build on that a little bit more. She's still young. She's got plenty of time, Daphne. But it'll be interesting to see what happens.
But I think we can see which way that discourse is probably going. Moving into defence, and as we said before, our defence wasn't our finest hour against West Ham United. In fact, this was raised in the press conference, spoke about set pieces. Liverpool apparently have done quite well from set pieces this season, and obviously we conceded 2 goals from corners against West Ham United, and it has been noted that from a height perspective, we're not in a good place at the moment with our likes of Steph Catley and Leah Williamson and likes of Fox McCabe. And you think that we don't have like the monsters in the air like Rafaeli, who was just in that back
just
line,
made Lottie even more sadder now.
Yeah.
I'm not. It's fine, but I think you're kind of forgetting about someone else that's very tall in our defence. I know she's just come back from maternity leave, but why can't we start Amanda Ilestead?
That's a very good point. That's a very, very good point.
She has the height, and I mean, I get very excited when I see her standing next to Sina Stenius for our corners. I mean, it's not like we don't have the height.
No, we just have been using it.
And it's also a case of, can we get her on the bench, etc. And I just wonder if it'd be worth starting her, even if we put her on for the first 45 minutes.
It's
just to try something different.
Yeah.
I know it's up, but it might be a little bit easier. No disrespect to Liverpool, because there's a lot of unknown factors with them at the minute.
Yeah, so, we've had a decent run in the FA Cup so far, because we've had we had lines, obviously LCL in the previous round.
The thing is, LCL did give us a run for our money. I'm not going
to
lie. The individual battles, and I'm going to go back to Taya Goldie. Taya Goldie was absolutely bloody brilliant. Like, she terrorised Alicia Russo. She was just on her good. Every second she had the ball. And then even with Katie McCabe, she didn't back off. So they gave us a run for our money. Like, it was a nice simple 2-0, but it wasn't easy.
I was going to say, if LC had their shooting boots on, there's a few chances in front of that North Bank. I think it was Cody who gave us the lead, if I recall. It was a Kyra cross, and Cody had it.
It looked like from where I was sitting, it looked like a Katie Reid goal, but it was Leah.
So that brings you back then. Do you think we bring Cody in for this one as well? As
I think so. She needs some minutes. Dare I say it, we're going to lose her if we're not careful.
It's not just that, though. It felt like Steph sort of hit mental brick wall against West Ham.
I think she was ill. She'd done a lot in the international break, and apparently she reported that she had some sort of sickness bug or something during that time. And I think, she was definitely hampered. She wasn't at 100%.
She hadn't recovered.
Yeah.
She just needs some time off so that she can fully recover again. A bit similar to Daphne.
Who's the preferential person you pair up with Leah Williamson? Because she's the captain at the moment. She's going to be straight down that team sheet.
I don't know. I think you might be able to rest Leah for this.
If you
No,
were to
that's
do
what-
that, you'd make sure that she's on the bench, though. You don't say you're rested.
Who
Would
would you
you give-
choose to lead the side then, Adam?
Well, as
Who gets the
captain,
armband?
Katie McCabe.
Interesting.
Well,
Who
if you
is
watch,
the
so I was
third choice?
It
Yeah.
worries me
captain?
when she leads.
well,
It worries me, put it that way.
well, if you watch, well, first she's captain for a country, and also it means we.
Yeah,
we
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that, but she's more likely to be reckless with us than she is with them.
No, well, I was going to add to that. Firstly, if it does go wrong, we'll get a very funny post-match press conference. So there is that, and also, if you watch the game back against West Ham United, when we can see
Yeah.
those 2 goals, who is the one lead? Because all the players go into a huddle to sort of discuss it, and
Yeah.
come on, guys, we've got to work out.
Well,
Who is
Katie's screaming at them.
Yeah, she's the one. Yeah,
Her and
she's,
Leah didn't stop arguing through that game. It was just insane.
she was the one in the huddle leading the conversation. It wasn't Kim Little, the captain. She was the one, trying to get some sense
Leah,
into the defence.
wasn't Leah captain last game? No.
Kim was on the pitch.
Kimmy.
Yeah,
It was
it's Kimmy.
Kimmy. I take that back.
Um,
Sorry.
So I think for me, you'd have Katie McCabe, because she always plays at left back, and then I think maybe then you could rest the rest of the team, give Fox a rest, give the likes of maybe Leah or Katie a rest, and you could go Katie Reid at right back, and then Ilestead and Cody in defence. The problem is
Like,
you are
With
massively.
Katie, I feel like she needs someone like in the last FA Cup round. Yeah, like Lottie. How Lottie was guiding her through that. She needs that at this point for me. And who's going to be able to give her that guidance?
There is that. I mean, Amanda's experience, she could.
I get that.
Right.
I get that. But who's going to be loud enough to tell her?
There is that.
As
And again,
Amanda does come across very quiet, whereas Leia Cadena is just an angry human being. She scares me.
and of course, this isn't a championship or lower league side. This is Liverpool. We are in WSL territory.
So
and
as much as we say, I want to see Amanda listed, I want to see Cadena, I want to see Katie Reid, you've also got to consider this as a team that we come up against twice a season already.
Yeah.
We've played them once already this season. We'll play them again in a couple of weeks.
And that game, the previous game, the Willier game, we scraped. We scraped through.
Let's not go there.
Well, one of the players who did play in that game was Mariana Caldante. Obviously, she missed a penalty, but thankfully since then she's found her shooting boots, especially from the spot in front of the North Bank. There's been a lot of discourse online that felt that maybe she was unfairly looked over for the Player of the Month award. But
Absolutely, I'm on that boat. Absolutely. As much as I appreciate Russo's level of work and things, Mariona's just looked a lot better for me.
But would you, for something like this, would you imagine that she will play again for this one? Has she become our most important player?
Yeah, she's the master puppeteer. Like, I want to see some more development between her and Rosa Kafaji, if anything. If we're going to start Rosa, I want to see how she plays with Mariona.
Well, actually,
and that's...
do we start Rosa then? Because we said mentioned that. So Rosa on this one. Sorry, so
give Caitlin a rest.
So the likes of Palova and Kafaji, we mentioned, has did the under 21 minutes. Palova's obviously come back from an ACL. Kafaji, I'm assuming it's just an injury, but could we see both of them start?
I wouldn't go straight in with Rose Kafaji. I would bring her on, maybe depending on what the injury was. If it was just niggle, bring her on in the 60th minute. That gives her 40 minutes to get into the game. We saw what she did with, I can't remember how many minutes it was against West Ham where she scored the goal, but she scored within the first 5 minutes.
Yeah,
of coming on.
I think she got about half an hour that game.
Yeah, so that's the sort of
bring her on as
minutes
fresh
she
legs.
needs.
Yeah,
What about-
bring her on as fresh legs to terrorize people, because we saw that in that West Ham game. You bring her on when everyone's tired. That's when you get your results.
And Palova?
But again,
Palova.
No.
No. Oh, okay.
You
No,
wouldn't
that's
risk
fair,
it. I would put her on the bench.
Not against
but
this lot,
I would
no.
say if the game's 3-0 10 minutes ago, I'll probably say, look, you need to get minutes on
Yeah,
the
if
bench.
we've got a comfy scoreline, I'd like to see her alongside Kyra.
Yeah, the game state at the weekend meant that was impossible. You couldn't throw Palova on in the game of that nature. I would love it.
Absolutely
Was she on
not.
the bench for that one? Just remind
she
me.
was.
Yeah,
she was.
She was. Yeah, I got a few snaps of her warming up. Very smiley.
One thing I did want to mention, and it's not to the players, but it's something that's sort of become a bit sort of routine now, and that is it's two things actually, and that's Meadow Park itself. So the pitch. Are we concerned? Because every time I've gone there, the pitch looks a bit of a bog, especially if you go there now from the North Bank in one of the penalty area. It wasn't great against London City Lionesses, and it wasn't great at the weekend against West Ham United. And it's been noted Arsenal sometimes have had to change their style. They've gone a bit more long ball. I mean, are you concerned? Because Boreham Wood will be playing on that pitch on the Saturday, so it won't be necessarily in a good state.
It's been quite warm this week, so I'm not too concerned. It's quite dry out there. I'm only maybe half hour down the road, and where I train in the park today on a Friday, the turf wasn't too bad, although it's not looked after grass like Boreham Wood. But I've got to say the Emirates is in the same state as well. I don't know what's going on with the teams that look after the pitches, but they're not looking good anymore. I used to pride myself. We've got the best grass in the league.
Yeah,
we don't anymore.
I'll be honest. I haven't seen many.
Even the Emirates has got mud patches.
I've not really looked at the Emirates. I've not really seen an Emirates game for some time actually, because I think we've mostly been away from home, or I've not watched the highlights because it's the game we lost.
Where we didn't do the pod last Friday, I was at the cup game. I was like in just on the other. When you look at the away corner in the Emirates, I was on the left hand side. I had like row 2 seats, and the state of the pitch, it was horrible. Like they had mud patches. When was the last time you saw mud patches at the Emirates?
I don't recall. So that's one bit intrigued by that.
Exactly. So there's something going on there because I get that Meadow Park is used a bit more on a regular basis, but it's still something not quite right there.
No. The other bit I wanted to address on it's slightly tongue cheek, but I think it's worth mentioning because it's getting a bit farcical now. What are the odds that the scoreboard's going to work at the weekend? Can we just
you might as well just not include me in any of this.
Do you know what it's going to do, Adam? Do you know what it's going to do? From your seat on the halfway line behind the Arsenal bench, all it's going to do is going to sit there and flash, and it's going to ruin my pictures. That's what it's going to do.
Yeah,
it's annoying as hell. Like, I don't know if someone needs to keep moving a mouse to keep it awake or what, but like, this is a brand new scoreboard. We should not have this problem.
No, we shouldn't. I mean, we should
give me the old one back. We had no problems.
Well, we did have problems with that one. It's become notorious for us having problems with scoreboards.
It didn't sit there and flash like this current one does. Like all of a sudden you'll be sitting there, the score disappear, and you see a picture of the Emirates. Like, okay, cool, that's a nice screensaver, but that's not helpful towards the game. It's like I tried to at full time, it switched off, and I was trying to take a picture of the final score. Didn't get it because the board went off.
It did have a major malfunction the weekend. You may have noticed. It said that we were 2-0 down to West Ham after about sort of 15 minutes. It was very bizarre. Yeah, it's
well, after the gentleman started screaming at Vivian Asai, who are you?
It's it's a bit of a weird one. We should say it's not an Arsenal thing. It's a Boreham Wood club thing. They're the ones who've put the scoreboard, but it's just a bit it's a bit annoying.
I was in the academy games as well, which drives me nuts.
Yeah,
I don't know how much it bothers you, but cause I sit on for the academy games. I sit on the other side from you, behind the away bench, up the back. It drives me nuts when it flashes on and off.
Hopefully, scoreboard works. Hopefully, Arsenal's defence works, and hopefully we can continue our high scoring. Because no matter how bad the defence has been, our attack has actually. Do you remember when Arsenal couldn't score a goal? Remember the last days of Jonas when we couldn't actually score a goal or create anything? What happened to those days? Yes, hopefully our attack is fully fluent and firing, and the likes.
They are long forgotten. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Well, we'll wrap up just quickly. We've gone for the team mostly, so I'll just get a few score predictions off you. So we'll just quickly go through. We'll do all 4 quarterfinals. So firstly, Manchester United versus Sunderland at these all. I'm assuming it's going to be at the LSV. So Matt, give you first dibs.
This is really annoying because United are top goal scorers because they basically played the lowest ranking team left every single time.
West Brom
bar Liverpool, who had Rugby Borough. So I'm going to say they're going to score 4 goals to 0, unfortunately.
4-0 Manchester United. Okay. Lottie, I'll give you the next one. Manchester City versus Aston Villa.
Oh, 2-0.
2-0.
2-0 City. I just don't see Villa doing anything. I really don't.
And Matt, I'll give you Chelsea Palace.
Again, I think Chelsea are going to just win this one quite easily.
Yeah.
Is it going to be that 7-0? Or was it 7 or 9? 7. It wasn't. I'll say 5-0 Chelsea.
I think Palace will get the opening goal, and then Chelsea will just win 5-1. We'll get that slight taste of hope, Palace might do something.
I'm going to be on Palace's side. I'm going to go 3-2 Palace.
I would love to be able.
Chelsea's back line is not indestructible.
Yeah, but I think their front line is just.
They do have injuries. It's just that no one's taking advantage of them, and the problem is they've got. I think the only one that's going to take advantage of them in this patch are Man City.
Yeah, that's the thing. I just think.
They played them 4 times back to back, no?
Yes.
And they're at home. They're at Kingsmeadow. So, I don't see anything other than Chelsea win there, unfortunately. And then Arsenal-Liverpool. We'll go around Lottie, Arsenal-Liverpool.
3-2 Arsenal.
I know. I thought so.
My blood pressure's going to go again.
3-0 Arsenal.
3-0. I'm going to go 1-0 to the Arsenal. I'm going to go. I think Liverpool are going to go low block defensive, and I think it might be a Mariona penalty that decides it. So I'm going to go 1-0 to the Arsenal.
Please tell me that's going to be scored in the North Bank.
I hope so. I hope we get that lovely silence. That sort of that silence, the pause, respect for the kicker, and then tucks it away. Well, if that goes all to plan, then it's the top 4, if you will be the top 4 of the FA Cup, and hopefully we'll be one game away from Wembley. But Liverpool to come first, and I think that's going to be a good game and a good challenge, and hopefully we can do it. So before we go, just a quick shout out from all of you. Where can we find you in the wild world of social media, Matt?
You can find me on Substack at MattLR, or you can find me on Twitter at MattLR28. You can also follow the pod at VAWPod.
Absolutely. You can follow us on the Twitter and on the Insta and on the YouTube. So do please give us a follow, give us a subscribe, give us a like, drop a comment. We do love reading your feedback. Lottie, where can we find you? Once you've unmuted yourself, Lottie, then we'll hear where you're from.
Oh, that's useful, isn't it? That's so totally useful. It was going to happen at some point because I know I was talking to you before the show.
Yeah.
And you couldn't hear me and nobody pointed it out. So you can find me at Lottie_AWFC or VAWPod, both on Twitter and Instagram.
Absolutely.
I do run the Instagram page.
Yeah, and do keep an eye because we get to see lots of Lottie does lots of lovely photos on the match day. So do keep an eye out for those. You can find
they're
me.
Not amazing, but they're all right. Just to pre-warn.
They're better than my crude attempts at taking pictures of match day. I'll give you that. But so you got a very good picture. I said before, you got a very good picture of me at Meadow Park. I mean, I was very tempted to make that my new profile picture. It may well end up being at some point. If you want to follow me and my nonsense, you can find me on a lot of social. Actually, you can find me on the Blue Sky, on the Twitter, on the Insta, on the TikTok, and on the at Adam_or-Salter4, depending on the platform. And you can also follow the Arsenal Women Archive on YouTube, Blue Sky, Twitter, and you can follow my writing at the Halfway Line. Right, that's it. That's the end. Hopefully, a successful quarterfinal will be rather nice. We won our last, was it quarterfinal? No, it wasn't quarterfinal, but we won our last time against Liverpool in the FA Cup with a resounding 4-0 win. It would be nice if we got something similar. Come on, you Gunners.